Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sea Otter, the flagship putter for wild discs. Now, if you haven't heard of wild discs, they do amazing things not only for growing disc golf, but also for our animal friends, as proceeds from all sales do go to wildlife conservation efforts. Amazing stuff, a great company, be sure to check them out. I'll put a link to their website down in the description below. So when it comes to the profile, the Sea Otter has a high shoulder, and on the premium plastic has just a slight amount of dome when it comes to, say, the very middle of the flight plate, versus, as you can see, versus a baseline plastic, it is very flat on top. Now, because it's flat on the baseline plastics, it does feel pretty shallow in the hand despite having that high shoulder, which makes it extremely comfortable for putting, and then with the slight dome on the premium plastics, it makes it comfortable for throwing. Okay, so how about the flight of the Sea Otter? And this is a fairly neutral to slightly overstable putter, at least when it comes for slower medium arms. For a slower arm, this is going to be very straight to start and then have a decent amount of finish as it slows down. For medium arms, it's going to ride extremely straight, not really getting too much turn. It's for us medium arms, I'd say it's a disc that it just rides the angle that you put it on. You throw it flat, it's going to go straight, have a very baby hyzer at the very end. You throw it on a hyzer line, it's going to maybe come close to flipping up to flat, but it's really just going to hold that arcing hyzer to the ground. And then if you do throw it with a little bit of anhyzer, it's going to kind of hold that anhyzer angle until it slows down and then try to level itself out. And then if you put it on an extreme anhyzer angle, it's going to really hold that all the way to the ground, and you don't have to worry about it fighting out as you're seeing with this. And for those faster arms who can override that early resistance to torque, this is going to be a nice hyzer flip to hold a nice gentle turning putter, very point and shoot. So how about on the course? Well, for the Sea Otter, when it's wide open like this, I'm just trying to hit a line just off to the side of the basket. And again, it's just going to ride out very straight and then just at that very minimum fade at the very end that I can always trust. And then on this, you have both on the right and the left, you do have some trouble. I'm trying to hit that nice and high line here and just, again, let it ride out straight and just have a little bit of a hyzer back, predictable finish towards the basket. On this hole, the basket is guarded by a gauntlet of trees. You have 3 different lines. Because it holds the angle really well, I'm deciding to go for this line here, the biggest gap, and just let the Sea Otter hold that turns, keep it on that line, and just get about pin high, about 15-20 feet to the left of the basket. So now we're going to get to putting, and the Sea Otter, as I mentioned, because the baseline plastic is nice and flat, it doesn't feel too deep with putting. It feels very comfortable. It has good enough glide, so anything in the circle, you know, it's going to get there without much trouble. It's very straight, so just keep it right on the pole and you're going to be making a lot of putts. So far, I've really liked what I've seen from the Sea Otter, both for throwing and for putting. Now, when it comes to the other plastic types, it comes in the landslide, that's the baseline, the nuclear, that's what you're seeing here, which is their glow plastic, and then also lava, which is equivalent to, say, tournament or star. So we saw the landslide when it came to putting, and for throwing, it is probably the straightest out of the box. It holds the angles better and probably has the least amount of fade back, and as a baseline plastic, it's going to beat in very quickly to a nice turnover disc. Now when it comes to nuclear, this is the more overstable version, so if, say, the lava, which is kind of right in the middle, is a little bit too understable, bump up to the nuclear. This has a very straight flight, but has a little bit of a harsher finish, more of a stalling finish at the very end. Now let's take a look at all 3 of the plastics side by side so you can really get a clear view of what the different flight patterns are like. For the lava, it starts off straight, and then just as it slows down, it has a little bit, just kind of a baby hyzer at the end. While the landslide, very, very straight flight, and then again, just at the end, it just has a little bit of hyzer. And then you have the nuclear, which this one, again, it starts off straight, but you can just see how much more of a dump, a finish that it has. So if you're a slower arm, I would suggest going with the landslide. I mean, one, it's going to be great just for most weather conditions. If it's wet, you're going to be able to get a real nice tacky grip, a nice confident grip, and also out of the box, the flight isn't too different from, say, the lava. But if you want that flight and just want a more durable plastic so it keeps that flight pattern longer, then go with the lava. And again, if those two, the lava landslide, are just not overstable enough, then reach for the nuclear. That will be a lot better for the wind. So, I have to admit, I am very impressed with the Sea Otter. It is a point-and-shoot style putter, just a little bit overstable for players with medium to slower arms. I think it's more torque resistant, which just gives the illusion of it being more overstable, but it's definitely a disc that you can trust on a very straight line and just know it's going to have very minimum fade and minimum turn in that mid-flight. So it's a putter I would definitely recommend. Now, be sure to visit GreatLakesDisc.com as well and use that promo code LEFTY to save on your next disc order. Till next time, everyone, keep banging them chains.